You know that feeling when you just can't focus? Like it feels literally impossible to just sit still and stay present? Well, if you've ever felt your attention span slipping away, or caught yourself just mindlessly scrolling on your phone while someone is actively talking to you, trust me, you are definitely not alone. It's a completely frustrating cycle. It leaves us drained, disconnected, and just kind of annoyed with ourselves. But here's the thing. The way we've been trying to fix this, it's completely backwards. We keep treating it like a personal failing, when really there's a much, much bigger mechanism at play here. So to figure this out, for today's explainer, we're diving into a really fantastic framework created by Doing Healthy Africa. They're the hosts of the 7-Day Screen Time Reset by Oluwatosin Olabade. And what they've done is brilliantly map out this modern tug of war we're all experiencing, that desperate need to get our focus back while also, actually living in the real physical world. They've essentially translated that overwhelming feeling of digital burnout into a totally actionable path. So let's break down their systems step by step and see how we can actually unplug without feeling totally disconnected. Okay, we have to start with a pretty harsh reality. We aren't just using technology anymore. We are living inside incredibly sophisticated systems that are specifically designed to capture and hold our attention. Just think about it for a second. The infinite scroll on your favorite app, the algorithms that just somehow know exactly what video to serve you next, those bright red notification badges. Every single app is in a fierce, all-out war for one finite resource: your focus. There are literally thousands of the smartest engineers on the planet working around the clock to make sure you do not put that device down. In the attention economy, your daily focus is the currency. So here's a crucial question you really have to ask yourself, and be honest here. Are you using your phone intentionally, or are you just reacting to it most of the day? Imagine waking up and checking your email before your feet even hit the floor. Did you actually choose to do that, or did your phone buzz and make the choice for you? See, the issue isn't that you own a smartphone. The issue is who's actually in the driver's seat. Are you actively choosing to learn or connect, or is your device just pulling your strings with a carefully timed ping? Doing Healthy Africa maps out exactly how we lose this control through something they call the default loop. Pick, click, scroll, pause, repeat. I mean, it sounds totally harmless, right? You step into an elevator, the doors close, and boom, without a single conscious thought, your phone is in your hand. Or you're waiting in line for a coffee, and 30 seconds in, your hand just naturally drifts right into your pocket. Over time, these tiny, completely unconscious actions compound. They solidify into our default setting, and we end up operating entirely on autopilot without even realizing it. And this brings us to a massive, game-changing revelation. We constantly misdiagnose the problem. We beat ourselves up, thinking, oh man, I just lack discipline, I just need more willpower to put the phone down. But the actual truth, this is a system and environment problem. Fragmented focus is not a willpower failure. It is a system failure. If your environment isn't set up right, trying to focus is always going to feel like an impossible battle. Because honestly, bringing sheer willpower to a fight against multi-billion-dollar algorithms, that's a fight you're going to lose. To understand why discipline inevitably fails us, we have to look at how habits actually work. It's a very predictable pattern. Cues trigger actions. In your everyday environment, it's an absolute minefield of cues. It's not just the ping of a text message. A moment of boredom at a red light, that's a cue. The awkwardness of waiting for a friend at a restaurant, cue. Even just 3 seconds of quiet in your living room acts as an immediate trigger to grab a screen. Research shows time and time again that our environment shapes our behavior way, way more than discipline ever could. So, if we take discipline and willpower completely off the table, what are we actually dealing with here? Let's just strip away all those heavy, guilt-inducing labels like tech addiction or laziness. They just make us feel terrible anyway. The real issue, which Doing Healthy Africa points out perfectly, is simply unintentional use. It's just the time you never actually planned to spend. You didn't block out an hour on your calendar to just scroll on the couch, right? It just happened. And reframing it this way, calling it unintentional use, removes the shame so we can actually fix it. But look, just because we're ditching the guilt doesn't mean we should ignore the real stakes here. The cost is high. We're talking fragmented attention, totally reduced mental clarity, and being physically present but mentally absent. That is the true toll of all this unintentional screen time. It's not just about some raw number on your weekly screen time report. It's about the quality of your life. Imagine sitting with your family or sitting down to do some deep work, but your mind is just somewhere else entirely, fragmented into a dozen different app notifications. You're there, but you aren't really there. Now, you might be listening to this thinking, okay, yeah, I get it. I know I'm distracted. I feel it every single day. But here is a absolutely critical shift in thinking.
Awareness alone is not enough to change your behavior. Millions of people know their devices are hijacking their time. They look at their screen time numbers in absolute horror every Sunday, yet nothing changes. Why? Because simply being aware doesn't fix a broken system. You can't just know your way out of a default autopilot loop. You actually have to restructure it.
So the solution definitely isn't just a temporary burst of motivation. And it's for sure not some grueling 30-day digital detox where you lock your phone in a drawer only to binge scroll 2 weeks later. The actual solution is a simple, structured, and repeatable system. To fight back against a digital environment purposefully built to steal your attention, you need to build your own system to protect it. You have to design a personal environment where the path of least resistance naturally leads to intentional focus rather than just reactive distraction.
And that brings us right to the core framework of the 7 days digital reset. It's not just a random list of life hacks, it's a real progression where each day builds logically on the last one. You start with awareness. Then you gain clarity on your values. You learn the power of the pause, audit your environment, build structure, find replacement activities, and finally achieve true presence. It's literally a step-by-step roadmap to rebuilding your attention span from the ground up. Now, if a 7-step framework sounds a little intense, take a breath. The core philosophy here is super important. The goal is consistency, not perfection. This whole system is about taking small daily actions that gradually shift how you deploy your attention. Nobody expects flawless digital abstinence. We all need our phones for work and family. It's just about taking the wheel back, little by little, so the overall trend of your daily life starts moving in the right direction.
You might be wondering, okay, how much time is this actually going to take me? The answer is just 10 to 20 minutes a day. That's the genius of a well-designed system. It's actually built for busy people. You don't need to retreat to a silent cabin in the woods for a week. You just need a max of 20 intentional minutes a day, maybe while you're having your morning coffee, to start dismantling that default loop and setting yourself up for success.
And what happens when you actually invest those 20 minutes over the course of a week? The results are incredibly empowering. You naturally start to pause more before reaching for your pocket. You reflect a bit more on what you actually want to consume. And most importantly, you start using your devices intentionally. Your phone goes back to being a really useful tool that serves you, rather than the other way around. You start engaging with the digital world on your own terms. Which brings us to a really exciting real-world application. Doing Healthy Africa is actually putting this repeatable system into practice by launching Cohort 1 on May 1st, which is perfectly aligned with Digital Wellness Day. It's an awesome invitation to stop reacting and start engaging intentionally alongside a whole community of people on the exact same journey. Doing it with a cohort gives you that little extra layer of accountability. So if you're ready to turn your awareness into lasting transformation, this upcoming reset is the perfect place to start.
I really want to leave you with this one final powerful thought. Let this really sink in. You don't need more discipline, you need a better system. It totally reframes the whole battle, doesn't it? It lifts that massive burden of guilt right off your shoulders. So as you go about the rest of your day, ask yourself, what system is currently running your attention? And are you finally ready to upgrade it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, stay focused, and use your time intentionally.